Miracle in the Gorbals. It has been a really fascinating day to watch. How do you feel it has gone?
Well, of course, like everybody in this situation doing the impossible, which it was, I feel frustrated because it was so nearly good. You know, they were so nearly really with it. But these darling kids that we mixed together, lots of different schoolings and things like that, they aren't used to working with dramatic subtext. And you have to have that for this ballet. So I was pushing at that at them all day. But it isn't something you learn like fifth jump, and you know, that's easier to learn that than it is to learn and unfortunately, I do know all the tricks after all these years at it, about where to put the arms heavy, how to disturb the air around you. But it takes time to do that. And I don't know what you thought, but I thought they nearly got it. They were really so near it. And of course, so I'm frustrated. I would have liked another 4 hours, although I think I'm having one of these because after, what, you're opposite a lush here. After how many hours was it without a break, really?
Yes. So you, could you tell us something about your role in the ballet originally?
Yes, I was in the corps de ballet. I was one of those little swaying people. And then as soon as Moira Shearer left to make the film of the Red Shoes, I took over the role of the lover. And I remained in that role till I left, which was 7 years later.
And how did the ballet seem to the company then? Yes.
Well, it was very exciting for us because we didn't have anything like it.
That's it.
Nothing like it. You know, we had beautiful ballets, all very classical or demi-character, but we didn't have what I call a dance drama, which this is. And so it was a freedom for us. And you see, Robert Helpman, Bobby, was a wonderful director. And being such a good actor himself, he could teach what I've been talking about, this subtext and this acting which has to go into the movement. He could teach us that because that's what he was. So that was an eye-opener for us. So it was thrilling, really thrilling.
And did the dancers respond well to that?
Yes, I mean, we were all saying, you know, the other oldies that were in it, we were saying that Bobby was an eye-opener for us in that way. He taught us such a lot. And I think not all his ballets are brilliant, and whose ballets, you know, no choreographer has every ballet brilliant, but for instance, this was wonderful, and his Hamlet, I think, is near perfect. Mm-hmm. It's a perfect gem of a play being given to the stage through ballet, and that's no mean feat.
Mm. And how did he describe the story?
Of this?
Of this one, yes.
Do you know, I'd be lying if I said I remembered. I don't. I just remember being in it, being totally entranced with it, totally into learning everything I could from him and learning to translate what he taught into my own work, which of course, as the years have gone on and I've become a director and a choreographer and then a director, there are two people I thank every time I'm doing anything. One is Ninette de Valois, who was a brilliant choreographer, and I thought she was a pretty good director. And one is Bobby, who's this whole thing of subtext. I've tried to carry that right through my career and, you know, make my work have a sort of dramatic content, even if it's in a musical.
And how did audiences respond
to this? I would be lying if I said I can remember, but I think it was pretty good, a pretty good response, and we took it when we first went with Ensa. Mm-hmm. We took it with us to the continent, where of course there were all these troops who had never seen ballet. I think would not have gone to ballet if there was something else. Mm-hmm. I think they've had to choose between a kicking down a bump and grind or the ballet. They'd probably have gone, but they didn't. They had us. Mm-hmm. And so this to them was something they could grip onto and hold onto, and they loved it. They absolutely loved it.
Yeah. And why do you think it fell out of the repertory then?
Possibly because it didn't have someone to teach it. You need an actor choreographer to teach it. You can't have a straightforward choreographer to teach it because you miss all the dramatic undertones and stuff of it. I think that, and I think, you know, the ballet went off in like life. It go fashions, fashions do this, don't they? And I think, but just working on it now, and I don't know what you think, but I think the score's divine. I love his music, and I think we could have a go at it again now. I think, we could make it. It would need very careful rehearsing, and it would need. I didn't have time to put all the detail I'd like, obviously, put in today, because I had to get some of it on its feet. But it needs careful, dramatic detail. But the music is wonderful. The story is simplistic, let's face it. But I think he staged it so well that it would hold up. I do.
You think audiences
But I didn't think that till today.
Right.
I wanted to see for myself whether I thought we could make it work.
Yes, yes. But you think
I
it
don't
would
know
be-
what audiences would make of it today. It would have to be so beautifully done so that they didn't think it was simplistic.
And as you say, the power in the performances and the subtext.
It's
coming
all
through.
all in that. If we could get it sort of performed really well, with that beautiful score and the wonderful designs.
And when you were
And there's some
recreating,
good roles. I mean, let's face it, there are 4 or 5 beautiful roles.
and when you were recreating it today, how much of that was Helpman's choreography and how much of it was your?
I'm afraid an awful lot of it was me because none of us could remember. I mean, you only remembered, Jean remembered bits, Pauline remembered bits, everyone else was new, and because they were arguing about, which I thought, well, no, we would be here all night, so I just went and did it myself. But after all, I was in it right from day one. I grew up in it. And my work has very much gone the way that Bobby went. So I just thought, well, here we go, and I did what I thought.
And in the other interviews that we've done today, a couple of the people have said that he didn't really give that clear instructions in terms of creating the roles.
I
So
know.
if he was trying to recreate it now, do you feel actually that he'd be kind of reinterpreting it as you're
course he
doing,
would.
really? So
Of course he would.
yeah.
Yes. I mean, you have to give them the whole dramatic structure and raison d'etre of it for it to work. And I think what's lucky is that I'm a director, a straight director, and do a lot of musicals and a very wide spectrum of work, because it needs that. I don't think it could be just with a straight choreographer who just did straightforward ballets. I don't think it would work. It's a piece of theatre rather more than a ballet. It's a dance drama, and dance dramas, I think, are very interesting, and they make for a good, it's good for a company, because it's so different from what they do normally, it opens them out.
Do you think it would be difficult, given that technique has moved on so much? Do you think that it would be difficult for dancers, if you were doing it with, for example, the Royal Ballet, for them to sort of move out of their classical?
It's all, I mean, I am one. I went through it, right? I know how difficult it is to get out of your classical technique and into feeling the floor. That's why I was going on and on about feeling the floor, feel the strength from the floor. Because we're taught exactly the opposite. We're taught to be above the floor and above it, pulling out of it. And all of this is getting into it and getting into the earth. But no, they're so good. I think the kids, when you think what they do with Wayne McGregor's work, as opposed to the Sleeping Beauty, I think they're open and fluid today. I think it would take time. It doesn't look right very easily, but I think they'd sink into it quite well, yes. Because, I mean, this was one day, and they were very different by the end than when they started.
Yes.
So if we could do that in a day, I reckon, if we had a week even, we could,
And when the ballet was first being mounted, did you go to Glasgow? Did you visit the Gorbals?
We were on tour there. We were there anyway. It was part of our tour.
And so were you aware of the sort of atmosphere in the Gorbals?
I think Bobby and Michael Bentor made us aware.
And what about the influences that Bobby brought to the ballet? Were you aware that he was looking at, for example, the paintings of El Greco?
Yes, we talked a lot about these hands, the El Greco hands. Yes, we were aware of that. He talked a lot about that. You see, we had some very wonderful people. We had Michael Bentor, who was extremely intelligent and a dramatic director.
Mm-hmm.
We had Constance Lambert, who could talk about anything and everything. and we had Robert Halpman, who was a brilliant actor-dancer, not a brilliant technician, but a brilliant actor-dancer. So we had a lot of good influences coming in on us for it.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, and because it was so different from the classical work, it was exciting for us. You know, it was pithy. pithy.